Okay. So after I have done some rapport building, let me work with some rapport building. Let me think. Okay. So Raisha, the reason why I called is I definitely want to catch up with you and learn more about what's going on in your life right now. But I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to show you what I'm doing right now. What we do is really simple. We simply put cash directly into people's bank accounts when they're going through something like cancer, heart attack or stroke, accidents and injuries, and even right now with the coronavirus that could put you in the ICU, we handle that as well in hospitalization. So Raisha, let me ask you, out of these three, which concerns you the most?
For myself, the heart attack and stroke, honestly.
The heart attack. Okay.
Yes,
so now you've narrowed it in to heart attack and stroke. Now I can do a little bit of digging. Okay. So this is, now we go back up into the script where it says, it would say like kind of dig into the reason why. Okay.
Yes.
So heart attack and stroke, Raisha, help me understand why you picked that one.
Well, I picked the heart attack and stroke because, I mean, it's not a secret. With my past with the drug usage and the alcohol and then hereditary, both sets of grandparents have had heart attacks. My father's had heart problems. I mean, it's, I haven't been easy on my body. So that's just a real big fear of mine, and it could be a very big reality in the future.
Exactly. Well, you know what, Raisha, I heart attack and stroke. So now I'm going to try to identify with the client. Heart attack and stroke has always been a concern of mine too, even though I do take good care of myself. Heart attack and stroke also runs in my genetics. So I tell you what, so now I'm going to transition because we don't really ever present through heart attack or stroke or accident. We I always start out with cancer. Okay, so now I've got to transition back to cancer. So Raisha, let me ask you, I'm definitely going to show you the benefits of the heart attack and stroke plan, but all of the policies work the exact same way. And I always like to start with cancer because I think it's just a good, it's just I always like to educate people on the statistics about cancer. Raisha, would you be open to me starting out with cancer and then at the middle, if you want me to transition back over to heart attack and stroke, I can?
Yes, that's fine. Cancer is another reality that doesn't discriminate.
That doesn't discriminate, exactly. All right, so Raisha, so I delved into what was important to the client. I like that style, guys, and that's not on the script, but I like the style of let's get to what the client wants to talk about instead of talking about what we want to talk about, okay?
Yeah.
So I know at the very least, I could dig in and probably show or close Raisha on a heart attack and stroke policy, but because I'm new, I don't know the heart attack and stroke presentation. I know the cancer presentation. So I'm trying to transition back over to cancer to do what I know how to do. Okay. So now I'm going to go more into the script, which is, let's see. So if you see in the introduction, it says who's probably the closest person to you that had to fight that. So I'm going to say something along that lines. So Raisha, you said that cancer doesn't say any favorites. Raisha, who's probably the close, and we kind of use this whole probably language, guys. It may sound weird, but it kind of backs off that language for the client. It's not like, hey, who do you know, right? It's like, who's probably the closest person to you that's went through cancer?
Well, I've had quite a few people, but the one that really made a mark on me is a friend that I hadn't spoke to in about a year and just found out he passed away from lung cancer at 31 years old last year.
Oh my gosh. That's
And
shocking, right?
yeah, and he and I haven't really got to speak to his family, but he didn't have insurance, you know, he just wasn't one to, so I'm sure they're in a world of debt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows somebody that's gone through cancer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we know it sucks emotionally and physically, but you just mentioned that they're probably suffering financially from that as well.
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to transition. This is my transition into the demo. So, Raisha, this probably won't shock you. So now that's the transition statement that's at number 1 on the script. Are y'all with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Raisha, okay, and then I'm going to click. Boom. So, Raisha, this probably won't shock you. And then, guys, I basically just read the screen, okay? The American Cancer Society says that cancer will happen in 3 out of 4 families. I know it says cancer will occur, but I don't speak like that.
Yeah.
So I just changed the word, right? Cancer will happen in 3 out of 4 families. Okay, now 3 out of 4 families. And then on number 1, I changed the language a little bit to say, when I click this button right here, okay, I can't unclick it, but when I click the button, I always say, the way that breaks down.
Okay, so
I say, the American Cancer Society says that cancer will happen in 3 out of 4 families. Click the button, the way that breaks down is, then I just read. 1 in 3 men, 1 in 3 women, which is in the script. And here's something I added. It's the second leading cause of death in children after accidents.
it's the second.
Mm-hmm. The way I say it, it's the second leading cause of death in children after accidents. And I'm recording this, Raisha.
Okay.
So I can send this to y'all so that y'all can get that language down between the two of y'all.
Okay.
And guys, this part of it doesn't sell or not sell, right? This isn't the most important part that we're going to do, but you do have to kind of be comfortable in how to get into the demo. And this page helps you get into the demo. I think that's the hardest thing sometimes, is to move from conversation into demo mode. And this is an easy transition, right? Mm-hmm. So this is probably not going to shock you, Rachel, but the American Cancer Society says that cancer will happen in 3 out of 4 families. And the way that breaks down is 1 in 3 men, 1 in 3 women. And it's the second leading cause of death in children after accidents. Okay. Now, if you look back at my script, the question there is, does that surprise you? So then I say that. So the second leading cause of death in children after accidents, Raisha. So I use your name a lot, right?
Yes.
Use your name. Raisha, and so the way I say it, does any of that shock you, or does any of that surprise you?
The children one does.
The children one does. Me too. That absolutely, I say this
kind of really heartbreaking.
It's really heartbreaking, right? So Raisha, you're role playing with me well. And usually, guys, when you're talking to a client, really you're just identifying with whatever they're saying. You're getting their head saying yes. You want to have their head moving in a nodding way the entire time. And so that's part of body language. So face to face, it's really easy because you're going to be constantly nodding yes. And their head nods yes throughout the entire demo. Okay. Yeah. And you can do that on Zoom as well, because because I usually do check-ins. Hey, can you still see me? So yes, Raisha, that surprises me. That always surprises me too. Moving on. Okay. Now you can see on number 2 on the script. Okay. I start at let's see, I go, it's the second leading cause of death in children after accidents. Does any of that surprise you? Yeah, it sure does. So I don't say this 1.7 million. So guys, I cut some of this out because you can't be demoing for 45 minutes, right? I've taken the best of what needs to be said. So I start at some of them, Raisha, like breast, prostate, or it could be hereditary. Okay, I say, so let's see, 1.3, second leading cause of death in children after accidents. You know, Raisha, some of those are cancers like breast, prostate, or ovarian are hereditary. Again, I'm just reading. However, nearly half is coming from our environment. So that's just like the script. So you can see this script is exactly how I say it.
Yes.
So nearly half comes from our environment. So the way I say it is the air we breathe, the food we eat, what's in our water, what's in our work, and what's in our home. The air we breathe, the food we eat, what's in our water, work, and home.
It's crazy.
I know, right?
I mean, honestly, I'm just sitting here staring at it like that is crazy. It's just,
I know that's
such common things.
Trust me, I know. I didn't know anything about cancer before I started doing this, and yeah, I say this all the time, and so it really does still shock me. So
not safe anywhere.
I know. So nearly half comes from the air we breathe, the food we eat, what's in our water, work, and home. Raisha, why do you think that cancer is so prevalent? And it's right there. I wrote it in, and I still say it. So why do you think it's so prevalent?
I mean, it's everywhere. You can get it everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're at, what you're doing. I mean, cancer causing, what are they? Carcinogens. Isn't that what they're called? Carcinogens. Yeah, carcinogens. Safety classes are paying off. Carcinogens are everywhere.
Yes, carcinogens are everywhere, Raisha. I agree with you in that, you know, we can do everything we can to try to protect ourselves from it, but then there's just some things we can't control. Okay, now if you see in the script, it says to be, that right where the click, to be is the click, boom, click. Okay. So here's what I say. This is something new that I've done in the last year. So what's in our water, work, and home? Why do you think it's so prevalent? Whatever we say, right? There's a little conversation there. So Raisha, here's what I say. While we've gotten really good at giving ourselves cancer, we're also getting really good at saving ourselves from cancer.
Okay. And
the good news is, now I'm back to reading. So there's a little transition statement I say right there, right? Nearly half, blah, blah, blah. So while we've gotten really good at giving ourselves cancer, Raisha, we're getting really good at saving ourselves from cancer. So the good news is that 6 out of 10 people actually survive, or I might say 60%. Sometimes I say, most of the times I probably say 60%.
Yeah. Either or.
Yeah. Actually survive. But the bad news is, okay, now we're moving to page. So you can see there, and there was some in the script, it says, it's a lot better now, 2016, back in the 80s. I don't say that anymore. Okay. The challenges while I catch certificates. So I don't say to see anymore. But the bad news is it's really expensive. So that's exactly how I transition. But the good news is that 60% of people actually survive. And the bad news is, and this isn't going to be shocking, is it's just super expensive. I always say that it's super expensive.
Because it is super expensive.
Because it is super expensive, yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
So I don't say anything about this 226 billion stuff. Ain't nobody mad. Does anybody care that it cost the United States $226 billion? No. Nobody really cares. Nobody cares. Okay. So I don't say it. It's there. I think it's a good visual, but I don't point to it. So here's what I say is it's super expensive. So Raisha, this is the most important page I share with all of my clients.
Okay.
And everybody is super smart, just like you. I might give like some sort of compliment there. Right. So I'm going to talk through this one. So, because I'm reading the script, and mine is just a little bit different from the script now, just because it's a little bit more matured. Okay. If all you did was learn the script here, you'd be okay. But this is your money page. You want to write that down. Page 3 is your money page. You'll hear it referred to as the iceberg page, or direct indirect cost page.
I like the iceberg.
Yeah. They added in the iceberg a couple of years ago. Okay, so it's just super expensive. And this is Raisha, this is the most important page I share with all my clients, and all my clients are super smart like you. So you're going to totally understand this. But when it comes to cancer, or Raisha, in your case, you were concerned about heart attack and stroke. So it doesn't matter which health concern it is. It's super simple. So you'll hear me say that a lot too. It's super simple, but it's super simple. There are only 2 types of costs. At the top of the iceberg, it's the costs you see coming at you. So sometimes, guys, you'll hear me refer to the Titanic. Okay, so let me try to verbalize that a little bit. I've never written it down. So cancer is super expensive. And this is the most important page I share with my clients. But it is super simple, and all of my clients are really smart like you, so that you're going to totally understand this. It really breaks down to it. There's only 2 types of cost. There is what's at the top of the iceberg. It's the costs you see coming at you. It's like if the Titanic was headed towards the iceberg, they're like, iceberg ahead, turn the ship around, right? But it was just too late. So the direct cost is what you see coming. It's what your major medical health insurance covers. Your doctors and your hospital bills, right? Your Cignas, your Blue Cross Blue Shields, your TRICAREs of the world, your Medicare, right? That's going to pay the doctors and the hospitals. Raisha, here's the transition statement. I don't have anything to do with that. And that's in the script. I have nothing to do with that. Okay. So the script, this is actually the most important page I share with everyone. Cancer is really expensive, but it only has 2 types of costs. There are your direct costs, and that's the part everybody knows about, the doctor bills and the hospital charges. I have nothing to do with that. So you can see, guys, that how I say it is really just like the script. It's just a little bit extra.
Yeah.
So it's okay if you don't get the extra. If you just memorized the script, you're doing good, okay? That's what your major medical health insurance is for. I just said that, right? I just did a little bit extra, okay? So then I don't have anything to do with that. Raisha, where we come into play is at the bigger piece of the iceberg. You know, that's the part of the iceberg that sunk the Titanic, Raisha. And that is indirect costs. Okay, that's an insurance buzzword. I'll say that as well, because I don't like the word direct, indirect. Nobody understands that language, right? Yeah. So I kind of make it funny and fun. Indirect insurance buzzword for everything else that your health insurance may not cover. Let me see how So Raisha, let me see. Let me just do it out. Let me just do it. So direct, indirect costs, I don't have anything to do with that. So Raisha, where I come into play is at the bottom of the iceberg, the piece that sunk the Titanic, and that is indirect costs. That's everything your insurance may not cover. So let me ask you, Raisha, given your situation, so you want to say, given your situation, right? You're a single mom of two children, two young children.
Yes.
You work for yourself. Given your situation, Raisha, heaven forbid cancer were to happen and it lasted 6 months to a year or longer.
I would be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Well, how is it going? So the question I ask is, how is it going to affect you financially? Okay. I say that very specifically. How is it going to affect you financially? Because that's going to put in your mind, not just so what you'll see here is, what are some people will say, well, what are some of the expenses that comes up? Because that's the way the script is written. But when you say expenses, people think money coming out of their pocket, and they sometimes will miss the hidden expense of lost income.
Yes.
So I say, how is it, so Raisha, given your situation, how is it going to affect your family financially?
It would devastate us because I'm at a point in my life, I have no savings. I have the children, the loss income, the traveling, it would all just devastate us.
Right.
I don't think I could come back from something like that.
Exactly. So here is a place where you listen to the Tim Van Summeren call, because if you can get this down, guys, y'all will sell insurance, because this is where your client sells themselves. So as I know y'all can see me, I can't see y'all, but y'all can see me. So when the client is naming off the ways it's going to impact them financially, I lift there's a lot of language in my presentation, even on Zoom. So I'm sitting there and counting off all the ways it's going to impact that family financially. Okay.
Okay.
And depending on what the client says, I'm literally just going to ask another follow-up question to everything that they've said. And here's my goal. Okay. This is a teaching point that you're not going to see in the script. And then I'm going to go backwards. My goal is, let me just see if, okay, it's not going to let me go backwards. So ignore the income expenses. My goal is to ask them enough probing questions that they give me something in each one of these categories. So Raisha, you said, I think right then and there, you said income, savings. You mentioned children. Okay.
Yes.
So you mentioned, you mentioned the first one. Boom. Yes, that one's really important. So I'm going to say, I'm going to keep probing questions until I get you to think about, your mortgage, the gap, your everyday bills, your food, your electricity.
Oh yeah, let me throw it. No insurance. No insurance.
No insurance. So that's going to change. So let's role play with people. Like, let's role play the situation where we have people that have insurance, because no insurance changes things a little bit. So let's just pretend like you do have insurance. Okay. So insurance limitations. I'm going to try to probe you into, co-payments, deductibles, right? I'm going to try to probe you into saying, because I might say something like, and Raisha, how about insurance? Does it pay for everything? Right? It's a question.
Yes.
Oh, well, no. Insurance, absolutely. And then that just pops people's mind off. No, of course not.
And then they go to just.
And then they'll start spatting off all the things that they can think of. Oh, my copays, my deductibles, and the medication. And okay, so now let's think about, it's cancer. What else? What else in that insurance category do you think might not be covered? Right? So you're asking questions, you're not telling. And you want to have them help them uncover these expenses on their own. Okay.
Okay.
A lot of time, I would say about 50-50 would people tell me that travel is going to be an expense. And the 10-band summer call gives a really good way to draw. So what you want to do in your demo, guys, is help the client visualize. It's you're painting the picture. There's, say there's YouTube videos on how to have people visualize the situation, in teaching sometimes, right? That in teaching y'all, I might give you a vision of what your future is going to look like. And you're just all of a sudden daydreaming about your next 5 years. And that gets you really excited. We're doing that as well in the demo, is we're painting the picture. And I'm pretty sure Tim Van Sumeren talks about, like, that's probably where I learned this whole painting the picture. You want the client to, this is really painful. When you paint this picture, you have them put themselves in that situation, and how those doctor calls are going to go, and putting them into that room where they're getting the bad news that cancer happens, and putting them in the car and driving back and forth to MD Anderson, having them take chemo. Like they're visualizing this, guys. And so that's what this page is right here. And you do not move to this page until you've got them saying everything here, right? You should know your demo well enough that you don't need to go to this page. You know what these categories are, so you can get them to say it here. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So this is something that I'm teaching y'all based on what, poor Shannon, she was the guinea pig, because she did, she's my first person I've trained on a demo. I mean, I know the demo, I just don't usually have to teach it because Souls Academy teaches it. Okay. So now you've gone through all those probing questions, and you're using on this page, the idea is to use what you know about the client. So Raisha, if I were demoing you, and we didn't know each other very well, I would use your kids, because I know how much you love those babies, right? So at the beginning of the demo, I would have asked for their names. Oh, so what's your little girl's name? What's your little boy's name? Oh, how old are they? Right? Now, I've got all this. Oh, really? Are they old enough to be in sports? Whatever it is, asking all these. That's rapport building, guys. To me, rapport building is gathering daggers that I'm going to use later in the demo. It sounds all nice and, like I'm just trying to get to know you, but really I am trying to get to know you, because I'm about to use all of that against you. Okay. Okay. And I do it in a loving way, right? Because we do this.
Because in the end, this is going to help them if this ever occurs.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's say in your case, Raisha, in this part of the demo, I might try to really just, if I don't feel like I'm getting to your emotional hotspot for you going through cancer, I'm going to use your kids, right? Yeah. So I'll be like, tell me what your daughter's name is.
Cecilia.
So yes. I might say something like, okay, Raisha, so heaven forbid, and this is not something we ever want to think about. So I'm always backing off with nicer language. I use a lot of heaven forbids because that's what I was taught, guys. I was taught that. Heaven forbid. And we never want to imagine this happening, right? So that's a back off. But Raisha, heaven forbid, Cecilia, Cecilia started feeling bad, and you took her to the doctor and she got that diagnosis, Raisha. What's that going to look like? So I'm going to now probe you to think about Cecilia going through cancer. And I will, like, those kinds of situations, when you can probe like that, you will have a client in tears. Yeah. And, and you don't want them to cry, but now you know that you've raised that emotional, that you raised the emotions to get them to really feel the pain of going through, of what this would feel like financially.
And
go ahead.
And as a mother, thinking of it from that point of view, like I would want somebody to do that, because in the end, what if that did happen?
Exactly. And so
Like,
this is why, even so, as you know, when I use the children a lot of times, it's because, and I'm always saying, you know, you would sell everything, would you not, to save Cecilia's life? Like, there would
yes.
be no amount of last ditch efforts that you would not do to save her life. Right. So that's what this is all about. And guys, I've heard through, you know, reading or statistics that the reason why the child cancer death rate is so high is because people can't afford to keep their kids alive. People can't afford to take them to St. Jude's.
Exactly.
Right? That's why kids die of cancer, because people can't afford it. So people
they'll
can't afford
lose everything trying to get them.
Yeah. People will lose everything. Okay. So there's maybe some other language I use there, but that's the crux of it. Then we're getting to this page. Let me go back to the script, see what we have here. So you see in my script, would you say that it's at all possible for you or your family to go through this in the future? Depending on so I teach that, and I don't use that with everyone. Like, Raisha, I would never need to ask you, do you feel like it's possible? Because in my rapport building, you're telling me, man, I don't know what would happen. I'm not quite sure anything's possible. So I know that you already believe it's possible. Yeah. So if I feel like I'm not sure, I might ask that question. If I'm not sure how you feel about it, I might ask that question. Okay. And if God forbid, so I'm on 3D, and if God forbid, thinking through your situation, you or your spouse or even your children had to fight cancer and you couldn't work for 6 months to a year or longer, how would that affect your family financially? Guys, I haven't read this script in years, and you can see that my language is still pretty much spot on to it. Yeah, that's what everybody's been saying. I hear that a lot. Why do you say that for your family specifically? So really, and I'm still here. Okay, so I haven't turned the page yet, so we're still probing. So I'm just reading at the script, and we're at 3D. Okay, now moving on to 4, you're swiping, and you haven't pushed any buttons yet.
Yeah.
So let me just read the script. The hard part is this: when you're not working, all the bills keep coming. The mailman doesn't stop bringing our bills just because we're going through cancer. Even the best insurance has limitations, like copays, deductibles, and medication can be outrageous. Travel is a huge one for a lot of people. And not that we ever plan on going through something like this, but if that ever happened, which of these indirect costs would affect you the most? And when do you think most people realize how these indirect costs are going to affect them? Yeah, unfortunate, right? Okay, so here we've done all of the work on this page. So when I swipe, I'm literally reiterating how smart you are. So I'd say, like, you know what, Rachel, I knew you would understand this. You've already named everything. You already said lost income and savings. You already knew that the mailman keeps bringing the bills. You know, you said, I'm going to keep saying, you said, you know, the copays and the deductibles and the insurance limitations. And you even mentioned out-of-pocket travel expenses. So I'm going to reiterate what they said there really quick and let them know that they've already told me. I'm not teaching them anything. I'm trying to let them know that they already understand this.
Okay.
So on 4, I don't do any of that anymore, really. Some of the language is there, but most of it's like, you said. Okay. Something like that right now.
Can we pause for 2 seconds, Tina?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm going to come off screen so I can.
Okay.
So Brandon, let me get with you. What are you sticking? Is it resonating with you?
Me?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You called me Brandon.
I don't even know why I said Brandon.
Okay, no, you're good. But yes, it is. Right now, I'm really listening to you.
Okay.
So, like, and I see the script, and, like, I'm trying to figure out the way I should be feeling as I present it. 'Cause I
Okay.
don't want to sound fake. I want to really sound like it's heartfelt. Even
Yeah.
though I'm
And
trying to say something.
yeah.
So
Good.
I'm just trying to like find that kind of demeanor to have. So I
Okay.
think learning the script, like I understand like the direct, the indirect, and like what we've gone through. So that stuff is sticking. It's the presentation of it. So
Good. I think that y'all will be able to learn really fast, given that I'm going step by step, and I'll send you back out this recording. I really think that y'all are going to be able to learn this really fast, much faster than what anybody else has learned it in the past, because we're kind of breaking it down like this. So let me go back to sharing my screen and go back to the mobile sales. Okay, so from here, so now I've said, this might be a little bit different from the script, but it's pretty much spot on. I said, you said, you said, you said. Then I'm going to say, so Raisha, Raisha, you know, heaven forbid cancer were to happen. What you said was income, you know, income goes down. So, right. So now I'm doing my body language. Income goes down, expenses go up, and there's a gap there. Raisha, that's the gap that we play in. So what is your backup plan? Let me see how it says. There are several ways people try to meet these indirect cost savings assets. Oh no, that's not it. If there's something. I don't know where that is.
It's 4B. B?
4B. So if something like this, Robert, and what do you guys have as a backup plan? Is that it? Do you have anything else? Does it have where it says income goes down, expenses go up?
Not that I see.
Not that I see either. Okay, so that is key though, right? In this whole visualization of, okay, so let me just role play through it again. So Raisha, you said, you know, that income and savings would be affected, that your bills would keep coming, insurance limitations, and then even travel. So Raisha, you know, we try to have our income here and our expenses here to where we're saving some money. Not everybody can do that. Sometimes we're income to expenses depending on, you know, where we are in life. However, but what happens is that when something like cancer comes along, or even a heart attack or stroke, income goes down, right? Because you're not able to work potentially, or you're working less. And then expenses go up, right? All these new bills, you've just said all these new expenses come up, and there's a gap ratio. So what my question is to you, right? This is all, the whole presentation is about questions. So what my question is to you is, what's your backup plan for that gap?
I do not have one.
You don't have one.
No.
Okay. So
you're really getting to me right now, Tina, because I really do not have one.
Well, guys, so look, even though we're practicing, I do this to people, you know, I do get to y'all, and I do it in interviews as well, because all it is, the reason why I'm getting to you, Raisha, is because I've got you thinking, because I'm asking the questions. Right? I'm making this real. I'm asking you real life questions. So what you don't have a backup plan. Well, Raisha, that's okay. You know, don't freak out. I've got something for you. I've got something for you. You've got something for yourself, but so you don't have a backup plan. Well, Raisha, when do you think that, so now I'm going to ask this question. When do you think, Raisha, most people think about these expenses?
After it's already started.
Right.
When it's too late.
When it's too late. You know, when it's too late. But the other time, there's only 2 times, Raisha, that people think about this. It's when it's too late. But luckily, the other time that people think about this is right now, Raisha, when you're with me and we're able to explore these things. So now, right, that's like language to let you know, hey, you know, you get the opportunity to think about it before it's too late. Okay. So there's, several ways some people, you don't have this, but there's several ways that some people take care of this is savings, investments, and college funds and retirement funds. But, also selling assets. You've probably got a car. You've probably got personal items. You've probably got things, Raisha, that you'd have to sell off that we're really not thinking about right now. And those aren't the best ways to try to take care of these costs, right?
No, because then you end up homeless. You don't have a vehicle to go to treatments or to the doctor.
Exactly. So, the best way to take care of these, Raisha, is really with supplemental coverage. And that's what we do, is we protect your assets, your family, and your future. Okay. So then I'm going to swipe. And it says, swipe. And then I say, I don't say any of this, cancer care, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares about the name of the plan. I don't say, nobody cares. So I'll be like, that's the best choice is really just supplemental coverage, because what we do is help protect your assets, your family, and your future. So Raisha, if you haven't gotten this point up to now, we pay cash directly to you. Okay. If I'm on Zoom, I'm literally zooming in on it. Okay. We pay cash directly to you. Okay. The cash goes directly to you. Raisha, the doctors and the hospitals, they always get their money, right? So health insurance, right? They're always going to get their, right? Some way or another, they're always going to get their money. So what we do, Raisha, is we pay you to keep your family in business. We pay you so that you can maintain your lifestyle.
That's awesome.
Okay. So that's the language I use. We pay you to keep your family in business. We pay you, Raisha, so that you can maintain your lifestyle. I might add something like, so that your whatever is going on, like your kids can still stay in gymnastics or whatever, right? But basically, I'm just saying, from here to here, supplemental coverage, we protect your assets, your family, your future. Raisha, we pay cash directly to your bank account. So that's probably how I say it. We pay cash directly to your bank account. Raisha, the doctors and the hospitals, they're always going to get their money, right? I mean, one way or another, they always get paid. But Raisha, what we do is we pay you to keep your family in business and for you to maintain your lifestyle.
So when my world gets turned upside down, my family's world doesn't have to get turned
That's right. So that it's a way to help you get, who knows, Raisha? I mean, now I'm in role play mode, but who knows? I don't know. I mean, we don't know. It may not be that bad. It may be really bad. It may still need more money than that. But either way, Raisha, do you think when somebody's going through cancer, they need more money or less money?
More money.
More money. So either way, more money is better.
Yes.
Okay. So, and you'll hear me say that sometimes too. It's not part of the script, but it's language that I use. So, so then I'm trying to see if I'm on the script. If I'm probably a little, that was, I think that was pretty off script from this. So what we do is called cancer. It covers your major medical health insurance that will pay the doctors and the hospitals to keep them in business. We just pay you, and it provides coverage for everyone. Here's an example of how it works. Okay, so I'm similar, but a little bit different now. So you got that part. So we here at Globe Life Family Heritage Division, Raisha, we pay in addition to anything else you have, and we provide coverage for you and your entire family. Here's something I've added. You don't have to be a part of a big corporation to get access to this.
Yes.
Raisha, I work strictly by referral. So I'm lucky that I'm able to show this to people who I care about, and then to people who they care about, or something like that, right? So it's like a way to get your referral language in there into your demo. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm going to skip this for now, guys, and showing a claim. So here's the language that I use since we're in this iPad environment, because I don't have this 4-finger swipe slick Rick style to go over to a claim. But I will let you know, we do have a database worth of thank you letters. I can definitely show that to y'all guys and remind me to show you. I owe it to Shannon. Let me just write it down. So IRA. I'll probably get y'all on the phone later to show you IRAs. So Shannon, Dane, and Raisha. Okay. All right. So Raisha, I have a database. So back to script. I have a database worth of thank you letters that are written to us by our clients. I can share one with you now if you'd like, or I can keep moving on. It's totally up to you.
You share it.
Okay. So if you said that, then I'm probably going to fumble and get over to my IRAs. So, okay, cool. Let me share one with you. So good. See, you're making me work harder today. That's fine. I'm down for working harder, Raisha. Thank you. Okay, so now let's just say I was on the phone with the client. They would see me scrolling through. You see me scrolling through my files, and it's fine. So I tell you what, Raisha, I have one of my favorite ones that I like to share. One of my favorite thank you letters that I like to share with clients is this one, and it was from the Widman family. Mm-hmm. And we paid them over $35,000.
Oh, wow.
This is demo mode. I'm in demo mode. Okay. So I'm just going to read this to you, Raisha, and you can read along with me. Mrs. Widman wrote, when my husband Randy told me he had purchased a cancer policy from Family Heritage, I asked him, do you really think we need it? And he replied, I don't know. But if we don't use it, we get all our money back. It's kind of weird that Family Heritage approached Randy when they did. The next year, he got a really rare form of skin cancer. During the 3 years he battled it, there was never a protocol for treating his cancer. Doing the claims was easy. We just had to send in the paperwork, and Family Heritage sent money back to our bank account. It was really easy and convenient. It wasn't complicated at all. I figure if I can do it, it must not be that hard. I'm not big on paperwork. I'm a nurse, so I don't like doing the paperwork. As for people thinking about getting Family Heritage, here's my thought. With most insurance policies, you're doing a bet. You're betting you're going to need it. The insurance company is betting you won't. Someone's going to lose. But Family Heritage doesn't work that way because you win either way.
That's so cool.
Right, Raisha? So the Widman family, so back to the script. So I'm going to say the Widman family, they didn't expect to go through cancer, right? It was a really rare form of skin cancer. So just like the Widman family, Raisha, I have clients all over the DFW area in Oklahoma and in Missouri. And there are many reasons choose Globe Life Family Heritage Division, but some of the reasons why is this is super simple, Raisha. In a few minutes, you're going to know if this is right for you. It's also extremely affordable. I always make a joke here because I try to lighten things up, right? Raisha, by this point, you're probably like, okay, Tina, get on with it. How much does it cost? So I say, right? See, it's kind of funny, right? Get on with it because it's true. People are like, for crying out loud, just get to it. Just tell me how much it costs, right? So there are many reasons why people choose Globe Life Family Heritage Division. It's just super simple, Raisha. You're going to know in a few minutes if this is right for you. But it's also extremely affordable. You're probably thinking, okay, Tina, get on with it. How much does it cost? But the easy decision, Raisha, is that Globe Life Family Heritage Division, we're one of the only companies that if you don't use this, you get your money back.
That's what's up.
Yep. I'm going to pause, right? Because if I pause long enough, see, I paused and you said something. I'm going to pause. I'm going to let that sink in for a few minutes. And then after you've said something, I'm going to be like, don't you wish car insurance worked like that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to put, exactly. And so people are like, oh my God, yes, I wish car insurance worked like that. So we read a claim. This page is called the buying atmosphere. So you can see I almost do it verbatim still. So if you go to buying atmosphere number 8, it says that you may know some of our policyholders. I don't show policyholders lists unless I'm face-to-face. And then yes, sometimes, especially if we're cold calling, I'm going to teach you all those things. When you're doing a warm network, you really don't need all that pomp and circumstance a lot of times, but we do have names lists. Okay. So I am saying, but you did hear me say there are many reasons people choose Globe Life Family Heritage Division. First, it's super simple. You're going to know. I said you're going to know in a few minutes if this makes sense for you. Okay. So it's just like the script. I just cut out a few words. Okay. Super. And I say super simple a million times in this presentation. Super simple. You're going to know in a few minutes if this is right for you. Second, it's affordable. And then instead of saying plans, start around $1 to $2 a day, that sounds super salesy to me, guys. I don't like it. So I've changed it over the years to say it's super affordable. You're probably thinking, come on, Tina, get on with it. How much does it cost? Right. So it's kind of like, it's putting the elephant, it's calling out the elephant on the table, or however that saying goes.
The elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room, yeah, whatever that saying is. Okay, so, and third, it's an easy decision. Family Heritage is one of the only companies that give your money back if you never use it. So it's almost exactly verbatim. I've been saying this for 3+ years, exactly the same way. Okay. Okay, so there's that section. Now we go on to the next little piece of where the buying atmosphere is. Okay, this is what makes it a buying atmosphere. Guys, it's called a buying atmosphere. Let me come off of screen so I can see y'all. Okay, why it's called a buying atmosphere, if you don't understand, because people don't, we just say this language and we don't really explain it. Buying atmosphere means that you're about to let your client know that you're going to put them into a purchase situation. Okay. So you're not springing them on it at the end. You've given them, up until now, all you've really done is educate them, right? You've not asked them to buy anything. You've been asking questions and you're learning about them and you're making it fit their needs, right? So now you're this is the middle portion of the presentation. Now you're like, hey, I'm just going to let you know that I'm going to ask you to buy something in a second. I'm going to teach you the language, but I'm just kind of letting you understand how this goes, right? I'm going to give you an opportunity to buy something in a second. You don't have to buy it, but if you want to buy it, I'm going to sell it to you. But if you don't want it, you can say no and it's fine. Okay. So it gets your client, guys, this is so important. Okay. You cannot skip this. It gets your client into the position that they can make their first decision of letting them know that they're going to make a final decision later. So the way I teach this is if clients, so let's say, Raisha, that you have your aunt and uncle that you're going to sell your aunt, you're going to show this to your aunt and uncle, and you have your aunt that says yes to the demo. But you know that aunt and uncle always make financial decisions together. By the time you get here and you do this portion, if your aunt is like, well, I need uncle here to make this decision, then guess what you're going to stop doing? You're going to stop demoing because you don't have the decision maker, or you don't have all of the decision makers. So I teach y'all not to, there's no need to press through a demo for demo's sake. We are not practicing. We are professionals, and I teach you how to sell, right? I teach you how to protect families, okay? Yes. So here, and there's a lot of things that go on here, but you're going to ask for permission. And when somebody and I'm going to tell you the script in a second, but if somebody says, Well, I can't give you a decision at the end. You're going to be like, oh, you can't? That's okay. Why not? Well, because me and my husband or me and my wife always make decisions together. Oh, I totally get that. That's the way it's done in my family too. Like, maybe not for you, Raisha, but for you, Dane, you'd be like, you know what? Me and my fiance always makes decisions together too. Or Raisha, you may be like, you know what? That's the way my parents always made decisions too. I totally
That is
understand.
the way my parents make decisions.
Right. So you're going to give them a reassuring language, and then you're going to be like, okay. And then you're going to pause and you're going to be like, okay, when can we get both of you at the same time? Now that you understand, there's a couple of ways, there's a million ways to go about this, guys, but I think I'm just going to teach you how to pause and reset the appointment, because I think if I teach you to keep going through the demo, then you're going to be pressuring people and you're going to get a lot of no's, and then it's going to be harder. Versus if we just press pause and set a second appointment to get both of the decision makers in on it, that's going to be better. But if I'm already telling you that's a problem, what are you going to do when you set up the demo to begin with?
Ask them if it's going to just be them doing the decision or if there's going to be more than one person.
Right. If we already know that this is one of the biggest objections we're going to get, which is going to be the procrastination objection because I have to ask my spouse, we're going to try to beat that procrastination in the setup.
Save the time.
Yeah, save the time. Save the time. Let's do it during the setup of the appointment. Okay, cool. So I'm going to show you something that, it may or may not make sense, but is it cool? Like if you make decisions together as a family, can I get both of you on that, in that presentation? Would you do me that favor? I really need both of you. And then if they're like, no, just show me, then you're going to be, as a new person, you're going to be like, okay, fine. Because you want to get that demo in. But you're going to get better if I teach you how to already overcome one major objection up front. You're going to already start practicing how to overcome that, because I'm going to tell you it's going to be the biggest objection you get, and that is I can't make it without my spouse.
I have a list of people already that for my warm-ups that I want to, and there's so many couples.
Yeah, there always is. It's not a big deal. This is not a challenge. It's not a challenge. It's just I'm happy to know that though. So now I know to try to beat that hurdle before I get to it. Right. It's just, it's actually just awareness. It's just being aware that you're going to sit down and you're going to show them something. And here's the thing, guys, is that if you don't, once you get past, maybe 50 demos, I get past the spousal objection all the time. I mean, I sell in fire stations. I never have a spouse, right? I'm always, I'm selling to a single man typically all the time. So I'll, because this is like $60 a month or less than 100, I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like you got to go home and I do you, Dane. Like seriously, you have to go ask Ashley if you're going to spend $60 in a month. You really got to go get permission for $60. You're going to be like, no, I don't need the permission to spend $60. Okay. All I'm saying is, and by the way, Dane, is she really going to be mad at you because you've done something protect your future, the future of your family? No, probably not. Okay. Well, Dane, if she's not going to be upset that you spent $60 and she's going to be, proud of you for protecting the future of the family, let's just get this done. I'm here. You're here. Right. So guys, just know that there's language that we can use, but that's all a little bit, that's like, I would say version 3 of how to work through some of these objections. And again, back to everybody's personality, you have to do it. Like I can say that because I'm always really playful and I'm smiling. I'm like, come on, bro, come on. I'm like, come on. Or even to a female, come on. Like seriously, girl, you be going out and buying some shoes or doing your hair, getting your nails done. If you're breaking it down in a really logical way for people, that it's not like you're not buying insurance, right? Because if you keep it as a financial decision in their mind, then they're going to always want to get permission. But if you break it down to, you're spending $60 every 2 weeks on those nails, girl, I see them. And all I'm saying is something that's literally going to put cash back into your bank account. oh, well, now that you've put it that way, right? Or however, you're spending money on McDonald's. This is less than taking the kids out to McDonald's once a week, right? If you break it down weekly, it's less than McDonald's. So just know, I'm just foreshadowing other ways that we're able to overcome objections. But while we're new, let's try to get the right people into the demo so that we have an opportunity to close business. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go back in and show you how that buying atmosphere works. All right. So, and then we're going to take a break, and then y'all are going to practice up into this point. So buying atmosphere, I'm looking at how it, okay. So it's set. So let me read the script, and then I'm going to actually do it in my way. So the script says it'll take a few more minutes to run you through how we pay out a claim, what your rate will be, and how the money back works. Before I do that, I wanted to share something. Okay, scratch that. We're not going to share another claim. Okay. So we're going to go from and how the money back works. So I'm going to ask you, so the favor I want to ask is this: take a good look at it. If it makes sense to you when I'm done, let's get you protected. If you're unsure, please say no. Either one is fine. I just want to help you decide one way or the other. Sound fair? Nod yes. Okay. So I still do it pretty much exactly like that. And you can see, I'm sorry, like we used to have this in a book. So I had little, I had like C for claim, R for rate. Like I wrote on my presentation book, so I would remember what was coming. And you don't have that. But here's the thing you do have is you are virtual. So I would highly recommend that you make yourself note cards and know exactly what questions you're supposed to ask, because you can look down at your note card and flip through your note cards and nobody's going to be none the wiser in a virtual environment.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So back into demo. Okay. And the easy decision ratio is that Globe Life Family Heritage Division is one of the only companies that if you don't use this, you actually get your money back.
Wow.
Don't you wish car insurance worked like that? So, Raisha, I've got, so what's going to happen next? Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next. So, Raisha, what's going to happen next is I'm going to show you how the claims pay out, what your rate would be, and how the money back works. So I'm going to tell you what's coming next, and then I'm going to ask for your permission. Raisha, okay. Is that something you want to see?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So great. So I've got to ask a favor of you, and that is, Raisha, my job is just to show this to you, and your job is just to take a good look at it.
Mm-hmm. And
the favor I want to ask is at the end, if this makes sense for you and your family, then you're going to give me a big thumbs up yes, and we're going to get you protected today. And if for any reason you're unsure, you're going to give me a thumbs down, no. Either one is okay. My job is just to help you make a decision.
Okay.
Or I like the way the script says, my job, or I say my job is, either one is fine. I just want to help you decide one way or the other. Okay, so I always say my job. My job is just to help you decide, and either one is fine.
Okay.
Raisha, can you, so then I'm going to reiterate my favor. Raisha, can you do me that favor of a big thumbs up or a big thumbs down at the end when I'm done?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Boom. Stop recording.